Hi guys, and welcome back to Fringe Friday. I am Carmen, and today we are delving right into episode 2 of season 3 of Fringe. Last time, to start off the season, we had Olivia trying to escape the other world and sort of being inundated with all of these memories of the other Olivia in a bid to convince her that that is who she is and to sort of really gaslight her into believing that who she is just a figment of her imagination and the other world is not real and she's just a regular old Olivia Dunham who works in the Fringe division in this alternate universe. Whew, that was a lot. It was a lot. Olivia, at least in the last episode, was still sort of holding on to like a sliver of memory of who she was. And I hope that she continues to do that throughout the season and does not become fully like indoctrinated into this belief that she is the other Olivia. We're going to have to see. We also, at the end, caught a glimpse of Peter and the other Olivia kiss and be in a relationship and just what's going on in our world, which is not great, you know, because our Olivia is suffering and being stuck in this other world, and they have an agent in our world on the other side. It's real bad. It's a real bad situation, honestly. And I'm kind of worried for everyone involved. I do not want, like, we've been introduced to characters in this other world now, like Henry the cabbie from last episode, Lincoln and Broyles, and Charlie, who still lives in this world, and I don't want their world to go away, but I also don't want our world to go away, and I want our Olivia to be back in our world and this Olivia to be back in this world. But anyway, sorry you guys, I'm totally rambling at this point. Let's just get right into this episode and see what the hell happens next. Okay, here we go. Milton, Mass. Is this gonna be like a Monster of the Week episode? And which world is it gonna be in if it is? What the hell are they trying to get? Okay.
What do you think's in it?
Ain't our job to think, it's our job to dig.
Okay, so they got hired by
A lot
somebody.
of money for this.
Don't open it. Don't open it.
That's exactly the kind of thinking that found us trouble in Texas.
We made a lot of money back in Texas.
Don't open it.
We're just a peek.
You stupid. You're gonna die probably. Shut it. Shut it. Dude, shut it. Your blood's not supposed to be that liquidy and coming out of your nose like that. Dude, shut it. What the hell? Why didn't it do that to him? Okay. Based off of the intro, I'm gonna say this is an episode that's taking place in our world.
A history of pop culture.
Well, that's your homework. It'll help familiarize you with this world. If you could move your hair to the side.
Yeah.
He's gonna remove her tattoo.
Who's Bono?
Bono.
Did you do what I told you to do?
I hired a team and sent you to the site, yes.
Your usual man?
No, I don't want to burn my resources. Does that meet with your approval?
I don't care how long you've been here. This is my operation. You work for me.
Damn. She bossy.
If Walton needs you to operate this, what?
We know that he has agents on this side.
If he wanted me back, I think they would have made a play already. There has to be some other plan.
Yeah, Olivia.
I know that this machine is dangerous.
Which is why we need to understand it. If it
Yeah.
is indeed a threat,
And to ignore it would be irresponsible. I've heard that argument before. That's what you people told Oppenheimer when you discovered that the Nazis were working on a bomb. And how do you think he slept after his little invention had killed hundreds of thousands in a fraction of a second?
Not well, I would hope.
I need to go back to the market. Aspirin, we need to go to the...
Aspirin.
I know you and Walter have been through a lot. But if this is the threat we think it is, we need Walter focused.
What if he's right? What if we shouldn't be working on this thing?
Right.
You know, I understand Walter's concern about the weapon, but I think that Burroughs is right. We need to figure out what it does, and we can't do that without Walter. I love this.
Really?
Don't you?
No, it's a great song. As long as I've known you, I've never heard you express an interest in music.
No. I've been noticing a lot of things since we've been back. I guess being over there and meeting another Olivia Dunham's made me think about the way I look at the world. Come on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, come on. What, you're one of those guys who doesn't like to dance?
I don't like it.
Because there's nothing like seeing another version of yourself to give you a little perspective. I gotta tell you, it was strange being with the other you. It was like looking into one of those carnival mirrors.
Oh, you didn't like the red hair?
Well, I've always preferred blondes.
That's not what you said before. Just like,
You still feel real. What are you thinking?
Nothing, just taking it in.
she's thinking that she knows what did it.
Look at the blood. It's a shade lighter than ordinary.
But it's mixed with something else, possibly spinal fluid.
So has anyone located what they were after?
We don't even know what they were after.
Beware of buried treasure, huh?
Yep. Pandora's box.
The buried treasure had legs of its own. Wouldn't that be delightful?
It would be interesting.
2 of your men died like you planned, but the other one survived and took the device.
I only hired 2 men. If there were 3, all 3 should be dead. No one can withstand that thing.
Well,
He
someone
did.
did, and we need to find out.
Mm-hmm. How did he withstand it? What is it? Is it Pandora's box? Or like some version of Pandora's box?
Walter, your tie. Here, let me,
It's raspberry jam.
Oh. Walter, can you just make sure you know that next time first?
No, I don't think I can do this.
Walter, it's gonna be okay.
This is like the hearing that we saw at the end of last episode, right? Like whatever they're asking them.
This place makes me feel so insignificant.
Oh. Oh, it's like a memorial maybe for William Bell.
Walter, Peter, we're set up in my office.
It's like a memorial or something, right?
I know that this has been a great loss to you as well.
That hits my heart.
My great friend Isaac once said, "Life is joy, death is peace. It's transition."
Oh, it's his will.
I was not a man of many friends, but if I'd had hundreds, I would still cherish the 2 of you most. Nina, I was your right hand and you were mine. For the many hours we spent exploring the impossible, a small thank you. And for the precious few we had alone in Tuscany, a memento of me.
Alone in Tuscany, huh? What the hell? is that so cute?
Walter, we gather knowledge faster than we gather wisdom. By now, I trust you have ample reserves of both. I hope you've forgiven me. Thus concludes the last will and testament of William Bell. Thank you all for coming.
What is it?
So you're gonna tell me about the letter?
No, I don't think so.
What did he leave him?
Dunham's not picking up you two at Blake's apartment yet?
No, I'm not with Dunham. Who's Blake?
He's one of the two men we found in the basement. We got a fingerprinting on him this morning. She didn't call you?
No, she didn't.
Yeah, that's weird, right? It's weird that Olivia wouldn't call you, huh, Peter? Sorry. Okay, my question. Who did he leave Massive Dynamic to? The both of them, maybe?
Hey.
Sorry. I know you don't want to babysit, but I knew Walter had a big day today, and if I called, you'd come.
Liar.
I was just gonna look for the landlord, see what he knows. Maybe you could do another once-over, in case I missed something.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, he's upset.
Hey. Walter.
What? What's wrong?
Is everything okay?
What's wrong? What is it? Okay.
This is from Belle.
What's it a key to?
It's a key to a safety deposit box.
No document. Debbie and I spent days discussing the wisdom of crossing the line. Only those that risk going too far can possibly know how far they can go.
Okay.
So you were the cautious one?
He saw what I did, all that I destroyed. How can he tell me to cross the line?
Walter, you saved Peter's life.
Yeah.
I know that there were consequences, but Peter has got to understand why you made the choices you made. You've talked to him, haven't you?
I've been waiting for the right moment.
Walter, you said you were going to do that days ago. He has got to hear your side of the story.
Yes. Tell him, Astrid.
There's severe damage to the inner ear. Pass me a swab, please. I think I know what happened here. Non più Andre fa Polone amoroso. Look at my brain waves on the monitor.
Harmonic music reduces neural activity.
As opposed to this.
Okay.
Taken to its ultrasonic extreme can be fatal, and the way it affects the brain, it could well have induced some type of vegetative trance before death.
So we're looking for some kind of deadly music box?
No, it's ultrasonic, so you wouldn't be able to hear it. The frequency is too high.
Silent but deadly. Speaking of which, I'd like to take a step away.
Walter.
Any ideas why it didn't affect the third man?
Is there, for some reason, he can't hear that subsonic wave, right?
Go talk to him.
The man.
You don't move unless I tell you to. Okay, step inside. Put the box down on the bench, slowly.
Please. Don't hurt me, Mrs. Dunham.
Oh, he's deaf.
You're deaf.
That makes sense.
Peter, have a moment.
Okay.
Today, when I said goodbye to Bailey, it was hard. Very hard.
I'm sorry if I wasn't...
No, what I'm trying to say is that it was nothing compared to saying goodbye to my son.
Walter, I gotta call it.
Peter, you need to hear this. When Peter died, I lost all hope. The only thing that kept me alive was Elizabeth and my window into your world. I always told Belly that we couldn't cross over, that it was far too dangerous. When I saw that you were dying too, and that I was the only one who could save you.
You kidnapped me, Walter. You took me from my family.
He did.
I didn't plan to. That was not my intention. I love you, Peter. And if I had to make the choice all over again, I am not sure that I'd be strong enough to act differently. But now I understand that I should never have crossed the line. Terribly wrong.
I can't talk about this yet, Walter.
I mean, it's only been a few days, I understand. But I'm proud of Walter for trying and talking, you know? Bitch, you better not. I don't think she will. It's still Olivia, you know? Like, she's a different...
Sorry.
Okay, wow, I was so fucking wrong. I have never been more wrong in my fucking life. I can't believe she just...
Peter.
Hey, did I come at a bad time?
Yeah, she just murdered somebody.
I can't close my eyes without seeing that picture. And whatever is in those blueprints is my connection to that machine. But what if they're right?
Don't trust her with your heart, though, hun.
What if that machine does exactly what Broyles and Walter think it does? Is that my destiny? My fate?
No. Screw
Am I
destiny.
supposed to destroy worlds too? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to turn out like Walter.
Peter, the truth is, I'm scared too. The last few weeks have been hard on all of us. You know, of course, there's always the temporary fix.
The temporary fix.
Distraction.
Don't like this. Don't like this. Don't like this. You remember the consent issue I was talking about in the last episode? That's it. Don't open it, dude. Well, he would die too, right?
It's a box.
Well, what's in it?
I wouldn't ask that.
As with most things in life, the reality would pale in comparison with one's imagination. And isn't it better to wonder?
It's better to wonder. Trust me, it's better to wonder. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Would you mind keeping an eye on the box while I go to the restroom?
Is there, remuneration?
Of course. There you go.
Was that $5? That's not very much money. He wants him to open it, and then all those people are gonna die, right? Don't like this, don't like this, don't like this, don't. Can we stop? Can we stop? Thank you. Thank you. Phone ringing.
Astrid.
Bros.
Well, that can't be a good sign.
Nope. Thank you. Thank you for killing people, I guess, because if it's still open.
Cameras picked up a small man walking into the tunnel carrying a metallic box.
Oh.
Bomb squad's ready to deploy a man in the tunnel.
Bomb squad? This thing's not a bomb. You send your men in there, they're gonna get killed.
Mm-hmm.
You have a better idea?
Yeah, I'll go. And if I can get in front of it, maybe I can disarm it.
No. I haven't had time to devise something to protect you from the sound emissions.
I'm sure your boys have some sort of ear protection, right?
The frequencies are ultrasonic. Simple noise cancellation won't work. I have to disable all impulses along the cochlear nerve. Tenuous to say
Walter,
the
if
least.
you have a way to put me in front of that box, you gotta tell me right now.
Agent Dunham, we're going to need your gun.
Oh. It's gonna be loud and fuck up his hearing. Yeah. Okay. Okay, you know, now's not really the time for slow and cautious. It's the time for like fast and just fucking go. Let's go. Peter, go. I mean, I know that he's gonna be fine because I'm pretty sure the hearing was like the next day after this, but or the thing where he's talking to the guy in the first episode. Oh,
I see it.
That guy. Shut it. Can you shut it? Can you shut the box? That scared me. Can you shut the box? Can we shut it? Shut it. Okay. Oh no.
I know what this is. It's a piece of the weapon. I recognize it from Walton's blueprints.
How's that possible?
Your friend standing right there? That's how it's possible.
Looks like the box was soundproof, but it's broken. I can't close it. I'm gonna try to disarm it.
Yeah, destroy it. Good job. That's disgusting.
Hey, guys! Do you hear that?
I thought all the trains were stopped.
The device affected the subway's communication system.
Then wait, you can't go in there!
Just cut everything. Just cut all of them, right? Like, God, I don't even know. Oh. Okay, he did it. Whew. She's strong as fuck. She just picked him up.
Why would there be pieces on our side?
You got a better explanation? We're talking about two universes here. At this point, would anything really surprise you?
Bacon flavored pudding? Well, that would surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me. People do weird stuff, especially with food.
The day was a bad day, but it could have been a lot worse. Your quick thinking saved a lot of lives, Dr. Bishop. Good work.
I love it. Broyles and Walter bonding. Ah, my heart. Is he gonna go to the safety deposit box?
I know it barely left me.
What?
Oh?
He left me massive dynamic.
I fucking knew it. I knew it.
I'm the sole shareholder.
I knew it was him or Nina, and I figured it was him. That's crazy. That's crazy. Sole shareholder? He didn't even give it to him and Nina. That's probably what they wanted, right? Begin work on Dr. Bishop. What work? Work to get him actively engaged? Okay, you guys. So I think that episode, at least for me personally, definitely made me a little bit more excited for this season than the last episode. It's not that I didn't like the first episode of the season. I just think that the emotional stakes are so high throughout the entire episode because we have our Olivia fighting to remain our Olivia, and sort of losing that fight throughout the episode and sort of slowly not being able to hold on to who she is, that it was just a very draining sort of episode because of the fact that you're so emotionally invested the entire time and there's no sort of moments of reprieve and levity that allow you to take a break from the like stress of the episode, if that makes sense. Whereas this episode definitely had a lot more moments of levity. There were for sure moments of emotional impact and being really sad and devastated. But I think maybe because we were back in our world in this episode, and we were back with a majority of characters who we know and love and have for the past couple seasons, that there was, you could kind of breathe a sigh of relief. Like, I still, of course, want them to realize that this is not their Olivia, but you get moments of characters interacting with each other that kind of lighten it, because you know and love those characters in those moments, if that makes any sense. I really hope I'm explaining it well. Again, I didn't dislike the first episode of the season. I thought it was good. It just was very emotionally sort of draining and hard to watch, because, which I think is the purpose of it, right? This was hard to watch in certain ways, and I'll go back to that in a minute. But I think whereas the entire episode last time was hard to watch because you feel powerless, right? In the same way that Olivia feels powerless in the first episode. We're just the audience. We're just watching the story, and we're like, ugh, can someone believe her? Like, stop gaslighting her. She's telling the truth. This is who she is. And it's very frustrating to watch, as it is frustrating to be Olivia. And I think that is the purpose of that episode. And it does it really well, because the audience is kind of a mirror for Olivia, right? We feel as powerless to help her as she feels to help herself. And it's a frustrating sort of note to start the season on. And this episode, we see characters who are able to help themselves, and ultimately, I hope, help Olivia, you know? So I think that's why it's less frustrating to me watching it. Sorry, you guys. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Okay. A few other things I want to talk about. Well, a lot of other things I want to talk about. Let me go down my list. Something that I think is cool is, and I'm just going to assume that this is the way that they distinguish it. The title intro is red when we're in World B, the other world, and is back to the like blue-green of our familiar world in the episodes where it's set in our world. So that's how they distinguish between other world, our world. Red title, blue-green title, right? Which I think is really cool. It's a very like easy way to understand and orient yourself in where you are, what world. I think that there's definitely other hints and factors throughout, but that's the sort of easiest one, and I like it. I don't know. I like it. Okay. So let me talk about something that was a bit frustrating to me in this episode, because I liked a lot of this episode. So let me get the frustration bit out of the way so that we can talk about the things that I really liked. It is frustrating, and I did talk about it a little bit in the last episode, but the Peter and Olivia moments that I have, how do I say this? As somebody who ships and loves Peter and Olivia together, right? Seeing them dance together, but it's not really her. Seeing them have the moment on the couch, but it's not really her, is very, it's heartbreaking, honestly. And it's heartbreaking for us as the audience, who I'm sure a majority of are very invested in their relationship. And it's heartbreaking for the characters, because like the audience, they're getting robbed of those moments in the same way that we are, because the first dance, the first like couch makeout session, you know, forever are kind of tainted now because it's not really Peter and Olivia. At least it's not the Olivia that Peter thinks it is. And this Olivia is just manipulating him in order to further her agenda and get what she wants. And I think there's something really tragic and sad about that. And as an audience, I think we feel robbed, right? Because we waited for this. Like, we paid our dues, you know, like we sat there and we shipped it and we wanted it, and they did the will they won't they thing for, honestly, I think they could have done it longer, but it makes sense that they didn't, or that they had that in this moment. But it feels very frustrating, right? Because like the characters have been robbed of that experience of having those moments with each other, we, the audience, has been robbed of that as well. And so that of course is frustrating. Again, it has to be brought up. There's no consent in this situation, right? Because Peter doesn't have an awareness that that's not his Olivia. So therefore, he's not consenting to this, not really, because he's consenting under false pretenses. So it's not actually consent, which is upsetting because we're seeing our Peter be assaulted in a way because he's not agreeing to this because he doesn't know what he's actually agreeing to. And I mean, it feels upsetting. It feels violating. It feels like we were robbed of those moments because we were, and because Peter was, and because our Olivia was. And like I said, I don't want to harp on it too much. And I do think that the writers are aware of it. I don't think that they're just doing this like, oh, they should be happy because they're making out. Like they ship them. This is cute, you know? I think we're supposed to feel uncomfortable and upset by those moments, you know? I think that we're supposed to understand that this isn't what Peter actually wants. This isn't who Peter wants, you know? I think we're supposed to get that. And so this isn't me criticizing the writing unless they give me a reason to criticize it, because that's not the actual intent behind it. But I think that the intent behind it is to be uncomfortable and to know that this is not okay and it's weird. Putting that aside, I still have hope that Peter is going to, based off of what he was talking about with Olivia when he was dancing with her, or other Olivia, and based off of his sort of like look when she was acting a little sus, I hope that, like I said in the last episode, he starts putting these little moments that don't make sense to him together and realizes that the inside agent is Olivia, because he's already met the other Olivia. You know what I mean? So I'm really hoping that happens at some point. Something else that I think is worth talking about in this episode is that this is not our Olivia. She killed a man in cold blood. A man who was innocent. I mean, not fully innocent, but he was an innocent person, and she murdered him in cold blood. Like, I did not see that coming. I was like, you know, she's a version of Olivia, and I don't see a version of Olivia doing that, and she did. And that was very shocking to me. And I think that was another indication for the audience, like, this is not your Olivia. This isn't her. Like, she's different. And it's not just that her mom's alive. It's not just that her sister and niece are dead. It's not just that she doesn't have Walter and Peter. Like, this is a different person. She has different morals and values, and this isn't your Olivia, right? Like, I feel like that was a big hint to the audience. Like, you know, Olivia would not do that. This one did. She's not our girl. She's not our girl, you know? A scene that I really loved in this episode was Peter and Walter's conversation, which, bless Astrid, you know, I love Astrid. She is amazing, and I love her and Walter's relationship. And I love that she pushes Walter to be his best self, and that she pushes him to mend this relationship with Peter and explain himself and his side of the story. You know, I just really love her. And I loved the moments we got with Walter and Peter in this episode. I loved Walter being completely honest. I love that he said, "This is why I did what I did. I understand why you feel the way that you do. I know that it wasn't right, but I think I would do it again to save you. And I love you." And it was such a beautiful moment. It was so beautiful. And I know that Peter isn't ready to have that conversation. He's not ready to forgive Walter. And I think that's okay. And I think if he's never fully ready to completely forgive Walter, that's okay too, you know? I think that he's entitled to feel very conflicted and a lot of different emotions regarding what happened, because it was a lot, you know? And I just love that they can start putting the little building blocks now towards rebuilding their relationship, that they can start putting them in place and that they can go from there. I know that it's going to be a long road, and I know that their relationship may never be the same, but I hope that it becomes something better, because now it's from a place of total transparency and honesty on both of their parts. And I think that in this situation, that's the only way to go forward. And I just love to see it. You guys know that I am super, super invested in Peter and Walter's relationship. And so to see them take these steps forward, to see Peter showing compassion for Walter and trying to understand, trying to allow him to say his side of the story, to really listen and take in what Walter is saying, I think is a really big step for Peter, and it's a big step for their relationship. And you know, it's not going to be rebuilt in a day or 2 days or 3 days. It's going to take time, and it's going to take, you know, brick by brick of rebuilding that trust and that understanding and that love. But I do think that they will get there, and I think that this conversation, as much as it got me and as emotional as it was, I think is a really important building block in them rebuilding that relationship and hopefully turning it into something even better. And so I really, really loved that moment. And I think that, you know, in real life, we don't always get a chance to apologize, or, I mean, hopefully what Walter did was a lot, obviously, but I think that in life, listening to why somebody did the thing that they did that hurt you can be very healing, and it can be really beneficial for a relationship. If you are interested in rebuilding a relationship, obviously some relationships are toxic and you should just get out of them. You shouldn't allow somebody to rationalize the things that they did to hurt you. But I think that in certain situations like this one, I think that it's important to listen to the other person and allow them to explain why they did what they did, and then go from there. Anyway, sorry, that got a bit therapy-y. Anyway, let's move along. Another conversation and moment that I really enjoyed was the moments between Walter and Nina in this episode. You guys know that in the past I've been quite skeptical of Nina because I feel that she has withheld valuable information that was relevant to situations that it wasn't strictly necessary for her to withhold. However, in the past few episodes, I feel I've allowed myself to see a different side of her, and those moments just, they got me. I think that she was in love with William, and that it was very hard for her to lose him. And so to have those moments of her and Walter sharing this really big loss in their life of this person that they loved. It was really nice, you know? It was really good. It was very emotionally impactful, and the fact that William left her a bell was really cute. The fact that William left Walter fucking massive dynamic. Like, I love that he said, do not be afraid to cross the line. And I understand that can be bad advice, but also in this situation, I think that, I don't know, I just think that it opens up an entire new world of possibilities now that Walter has massive dynamic, and they literally can't withhold information from them now because he is the sole shareholder. That is interesting too. William made Walter the sole shareholder of Massive Dynamic. Like, that makes Walter one of the most powerful men in the world now, right? Because that's what William was. So that's fucking nuts. Walter owns Massive Dynamic. Nina works for Walter now. Now they're gonna know everything. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I think that ultimately Walter is gonna have to cross the line again for Olivia. And you know, what the repercussions will be, I don't know. I personally would like there to be a way that we could save both worlds, but I don't know if it's gonna be possible. I don't know if Walternet's gonna let it be possible. It's a sticky situation, and I'm curious as to what is gonna happen now that Walter owns Massive Dynamic. That's just crazy. That's crazy. I thought that he left it to him. I wondered if he left it to him. I knew it was gonna be between him and Nina. I love that he left it to Walter, though. I do. I really love it. Also, another bonding moment that I loved that was quick but cute and important to my heart was seeing Broyles tell Walter he did a good job. And it was just a small moment, but it was a nice bonding moment, and it meant a lot to me because, you know, I love Broyles, I love Walter, I love our little family, and I just want them all to be back together and happy again. Like, can we get Olivia back, please? I miss her. I miss her. I miss her. I know I just saw her last episode, but like, I miss her, and I want her back. I am curious if we're gonna like go back and forth, like we're gonna have an episode on that side, an episode on this side, or if it's gonna like be like an episode on that side, 3 episodes on this side, 2 episodes on that side, 5 episodes on, you know what I mean? Like, I'm curious as to how they're going to split the different sides and what's going to be going on each side, because this episode and the previous episode kind of took place concurrently, right? Like, this episode started 2 days after the last episode started 2 to 3 days after, right? So it's kind of on the same timeline, just different stuff happening. So I'm curious if we'll keep doing that. If so, like, it's going to be confusing to try to remember where each thing is happening in the timeline. But, you know, I'm up for it. That's why I write all these notes down. I think the last thing that I have to talk about is that they're falling into the trap of doing what they want, right? So Walternet and them, Walternet, Sebastian Roche's character, Newton, and this other Olivia, wanted Peter to end up with the box so that he could try to figure out how it works so that they could start having the pieces that they need for the project. I wouldn't be surprised if Walternet took Peter, knowing that they would come over, in order to plant the seed, let Peter go back, finish gathering up the pieces, and then they could like have everything they need to use the machine, you know? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Walter thinks 5 steps ahead. So I assume Walternet thinks quite a few steps ahead as well, you know? So that's stressful, that, you know, Peter's doing exactly what they want him to do, and now Olivia's task is to get Walter to do exactly what they want him to do. I assume that it's exactly what they want him to do, which is work on the machine. And I just think it's going to go badly, you know? Yeah, I just think it's going to go badly, and I'm nervous but excited. Like I said, I think this episode really got me hyped for this season and what's to come, because the last episode I was just trying to freaking survive the emotional impact of what the hell was happening. This episode, I'm scared, but I'm like, I want to peek through the curtain. Like, the curtain is the next episode, and I want to see, you know, I'm not too scared. I'm not like, I need to take a year off. You know, I'm like, can I see what's behind the curtain now? Anyway, I think that is all of the rambling that I need to do for this episode. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, you can watch the next episode right now over on Patreon, which is linked in the description down below. You can also watch my entire full-length reaction to this episode and every episode thus far of Fringe, over there as well. Until next time, where we figure out if we're in World A or World B or somewhere in between. I don't think there's an in between. Anyway, I'm gonna start talking. Until next time. Bye, guys.